SightSoundsFlavors.com. If at any point in time you like this video, smash that like button. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And also, guys, please leave a comment down below. So we're going to talk first and foremost about the April the 9th video that I took at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport, because that thing went viral. Let me tell you something. That first and foremost put Sight Sounds Flavors on the map on TikTok. We had, I think, like 18 followers. Now we've got close to 4,000. And that video on TikTok went over 12 million views. Here on YouTube, over 4 million views. On Instagram, TikTok, I already said TikTok, Twitter, Periscope, all of them. And a lot of people ask me about the Karens, and they're like, what's going on with the Karens? Well, really what happened was, I got to the airport and I was running late. I was scared, I'm not going to lie. You guys ever fly? Make sure you get to the airport at least an hour early, because I was like super close. So I get to the airport, and I must have asked probably a good 150 people if I can get in front of them. I was like, look, I need to get on the Spirit Airlines flight to Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a lawyer. If I don't get this flight, I'm going to miss work. Can you please let me? And of course, everybody lets you go, you know, because people are nice, and you don't really give them a choice anyways, because you're asking them as you're already kind of cutting in front of them. You're like, is it okay? Is it okay? I got to get this, you know? And so most people are not going to object, and those that do, you selectively don't hear them. But no, honestly, most people don't say anything. So when I got to, you know, that little spiral section between where the TSA agent checks your boarding pass and where you're making your way to go through like the x-ray machines, I see this elderly Spirit Airline. First of all, I didn't know that she was employed by Spirit, but she had this really bright scarf on, and I sort of made out, you know, that she was an employee of theirs because of the scarf. This was a very elderly woman, maybe in her high 70s, maybe early 80s, and I was just not really sure why she was on the side, because we're sort of corralled in there, you know, going around in this like pointless zigzag of circles, S's or whatnot. And she like was like looking for somebody. I could tell that much. Guys, please make sure to give a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please do so. And any super chats, guys, you want to do a super chat, I will put your question all the way to the top. But I really want you guys to comment and like and subscribe. So I see this woman, and I could see that she's like kind of zoning in on this blonde lady. But the blonde lady's not like, obviously, because what you're doing, right? You've already given your boarding pass, so you've got the phone away, all that stuff. You're just trying to get, you know, through security. I froze up there for a second. So anyways, a lot of the people that are in that line, they're waiting. Wow, we just jumped up from 15 live viewers to 28. I wonder if that maybe had something to do with it. But anyways, so she finally makes contact with this lady, and she says to her, and I'm in my private office here in Louisville, Kentucky, so I can shout. Nobody's here. She says, "You have a filthy mouth," like that. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize, and we're going to talk about a lot of other things besides this, but I want to start with this. Excuse me. So basically, the blonde lady was unfazed. Now, everybody knew that she was talking to the blonde lady. I mean, everybody. There was no doubt about it. Now, the blonde lady that a lot of people have said has a likeness to Meryl Streep. Very beautiful woman. You know, I don't talk about that on the live video or the actual video, because it's not really important, but a very, very beautiful woman. And I've received thousands of messages on TikTok. The video's got 12.1 million views. And that's just original views, because the video went on all Fox affiliates. They asked me for permission. It went on all NBC affiliates, CBS affiliates, the New York Post. The Australians got it. It was on the Daily Mail. So if you were to add all the views, it may be well in excess of 50 million views. Here on YouTube alone, it's got 4 million, plus the 12 million on TikTok, that's 16 million. I've gotten thousands of comments from people asking me about the info on the blonde passenger. I don't know. I did ask her, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So when she says, "You have a filthy mouth," and the old lady was upset. I mean, it's interesting. She was more upset for what you didn't see than what you did see, which makes it all the more like revealing, all the more, weird, because you ask yourself, surely, this lady had been working for Spirit or in the airline industry or in the customer service industry for a long time. Why did this particular interaction upset her so much? Other people might say, well, maybe this one didn't upset her so much. Maybe this is how she gets down on a daily basis, and this is the only time she's been on video. That's a valid argument to make as well. So in any event, when she said, "You have a filthy mouth," the blonde lady was not fazed. And the same smirk that she gave after the lady said "F you too" and walked away, she kind of did that there too. So it wasn't that she was just doing it for my camera. I think it was her way of sort of de-escalating. Now, I'm not saying that the passenger was 100% in the right, because she wasn't. Obviously, she said something. But here's the deal. If you have ever flown either, and I'm not picking just on Spirit, because I still fly Spirit. I've got no issue with Spirit, because I know what I'm getting for what I'm paying, right? A lot of people don't. So, for example, I'll give you an example. If you use Uber, right? Uber used to have something called Uber Pool. Now, Uber Pool was basically you would put, somewhere you were going, right? And it was a lot cheaper than Uber Direct. But why was it cheaper? It was cheaper because the Uber driver was also picking up 2 or 3 or maybe 4 different people besides yourself. And let's say that you were the second person they picked up. The first person was going, obviously, to a different place than you were going. Now, let's say that you're a cheapskate, or they don't offer this anymore because of COVID killed that, but let's say you were a cheapskate and you wanted to go to the airport with Uber Pool to save money from Uber Direct, maybe $5, right? So you're already in a rush to get to the airport. You get Uber Pool, save yourself $5. You get in there's already somebody in the car. You tell the driver, I need to get to the airport immediately because I'm going to miss my flight. The Uber driver is going to turn around and tell you, well, actually, this person that was in the car before you, we're going to their place first. You have no right to be upset because that's the nature of Uber Pool. But that same person might then complain and say, I'll never use Uber again. Uber is a piece of crap. When in reality, they're a piece of crap because they didn't study the plan. They just wanted to save the money and get the same as they would have gotten for the direct. If you fly Spirit or Frontier or Allegiant and you know that you're going to have to pay for absolutely everything added on, then you're going to be okay. I get the front wide seat, the big front seat, whatever it's called. It's like $40 more. Sometimes it costs more to get that seat than it costs to fly. It's okay. Why? I want the extra 12 inches of leg room. I also want the more arm room. And instead of having 3 seats in a row, I've got 2. So that's my defensive Spirit. But a lot of the people that fly Spirit are kind of like that Uber Pool passenger trying to save money and get there just as quick as Uber Direct. So that being said, why did I make that whole thing? Well, maybe the blonde passenger was kind of like that Uber Pool client that wanted to get there just as fast for less money. Maybe she wanted to get a free carry-on. Maybe she wanted to get internet at no additional cost. Maybe she wanted to move her seat and didn't want to pay the fee. And maybe when she didn't get her way, she cursed out that elderly Spirit employee. And once she cursed her out, she went about her business. But that employee was still offended. That employee was not the employee that came through and you give your boarding pass and go through. It's my belief that that employee was from the ticket counter. So that employee had to leave the ticket counter, cross their own Spirit employee, and come all the way to right before TSA to find this woman to give her a piece of her mind. And maybe she couldn't give her a piece of her mind at the ticket counter, but she was going to do it before she boarded. Now, the big question is, did the passenger have to show the boarding pass? In my opinion, it's no. And most people's opinion, it's no. Because at that point, and this is where a lot of people have chimed in and said, why didn't TSA intervene? Well, I would say TSA wasn't aware. Because if the elderly Spirit employee had gone to the TSA agent and told the TSA agent that she needed their help in getting that boarding pass, I think TSA would have told her to take a long walk off a short pier. TSA was not going to be privy to whatever it is she was trying to do. Whatever kind of revenge she was trying to exact, I don't think TSA would have been party to that. So I think that that's why she, when she came back, made it a point to go directly to her and directly demand the boarding pass. Now, I don't know why the blonde passenger gave it to her, but it stands to reason that she gave it to her so that she couldn't fly. And to me, that's taking things too extreme, as I said on the video. And, but even after the blonde passenger complied, it wasn't even about that. I think that she was wanting the boarding pass to show her authority, not expecting the blonde passenger to comply. And when the blonde passenger complied, then it became about not letting her, take steps forward. That's when you see her block her. And when she said that she wasn't going to let her make her miss her flight, I think that the employee knew, look, I can't stop her. I can't detain her. I'm really outside of the scope of my employment. That's what she said, F you too, and stormed off. And that's why I said, wow. And I gasped. And that wasn't intentional. I was like, really? I didn't know that that's where that was going to go. So, and I think that my wow and my gasp was a big part of why the video went viral. Now, something else I want to talk about as we delve more into this, and there's going to be more videos because people want to know more. And most of you are watching and not commenting, which is very interesting because I think that a lot of people have a lot of burning questions and just don't want to ask them in a live format. But I'm going to be here probably for another 10 or so minutes, and I pledge to you that I will answer every single question within the next 8 minutes. It's 6:42 Eastern. I will go till 6:50. I will answer every question for the next 8 minutes. And if there's no questions, no problem. Please make sure to give a thumbs up to this video, and please try to subscribe to Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube. We got Sight Sounds Flavors on Instagram, Sight Sounds Flavors on TikTok, and a whole bunch of other places. So now I want to talk about the Irish Air Force. The Irish Air Force, they've got the Pilatus PC-9, very, very impressive fighter jet. We'll be talking about more of that later. Darrell Brooks Jr. A lot of people want me to talk on Darrell Brooks Jr. and the Waukesha trial. They say, don't let go of that. We still got more to talk about. You guys are still sending me clips. So I'm going to keep talking about it. I may come out with a Darrell Brooks Jr. video at some point tonight. Also, a lot of people want me to talk about some of the characters in line at the Spirit Airlines flight. And I have a video called The Other Characters. I talk about the girl with the big giant bonnet. I talk about the immaculately dressed GQ type dude in the blue suit. I talk about the guy that looks like he slept on the beach. I talk about the Jewish family that was looking on. I actually had a great conversation with them. There's the Indian looking guy that looks over. There's the poor couple behind the blonde passenger. The man in his special, he took some hit from the elderly woman. And a lot of people say, well, not only was she wrong to get in the way of the blonde Karen, not only was she in the wrong to demand the boarding pass, but she body checked this poor man behind her. But also his wife, the older Spirit Airlines employee, or the old Spirit Airlines employee, because she's the only Spirit Airlines employee, gave a directive to the passengers behind the blonde Karen to move forward. She said, quote, she's not going anywhere. And the wife in the couple actually started to move forward. And that's when blonde Karen was like, no, 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 no. And she started walking forward. So, she's in there. And then, of course, a lot of people want to know about the girl with the huge bonnet. And they want to know what was in the bonnet. Other people want to know, did the blonde Karen get to fly? I believe that she did. I don't think that they would have been able, I don't think that the Spirit Airlines employee was able to, unless she had somebody at the gate that she really liked and trusted that would risk their job, I don't think that she would have been able to connect fast enough, put a plan together and get some co-conspirators to keep the blonde Karen from flying because she did pay for her ticket. If she passed security, which I have no reason to believe she wouldn't have passed security, then I don't know how the old Karen would have been able to get the younger Karen to not fly. Other people have said that possibly she did get to fly, but that later Spirit Airlines basically 86'd her from all future flights. Also don't think that happened. I don't know that the old Karen had that kind of juice. I don't know that she had that kind of connection where she could do something like that. But it's very, very interesting because a lot of people have told me privately. I've had several private conversations. We also had a Skype chat with a few folks, some of my more active regulars. I do that from time to time to reward my active regulars. And they had told me that the reason she wanted the boarding pass so badly was precisely to jam her up. And she would not have put in that kind of an effort if she, in fact, did not have something up her sleeve. So it's interesting. I don't know what she could do just with a boarding pass. I don't know how much access to whatever information she could have. I don't know. It's a very interesting situation because, I've never seen anything like it. But she stormed out of there and she was clearly upset because even though she got more or less everything she wanted, she still, I think what she really ultimately wanted was to get the blonde Karen to react. She wanted there to be an altercation, a screaming match. She wanted it to go to the next level, and it didn't. Blonde Karen, I got to be, and she is a Karen. Blonde Karen is a Karen. I've had people message me that claim to know her. Then I asked her, what's her name? Or can you give her information to me or my information to her? Because I really would like to do an interview, and I feel that I could, maybe shed some light on this, but they were not able to provide that. And so I don't even believe that they even really knew her. But the reality of the matter is that it stands to reason that she must have said something, done something, and probably when the old Karen says F you too, she more than likely said F you to this worker who was just probably doing her job. Again, most airlines, this is something else that I want to say. Earlier I talked about, Spirit, Allegiant, and Frontier. Those are the three primary discount airlines. They don't give their employees a lot of discretion like Delta does or American does or United does. So it's not even a question of whether or not the employees are being hard on the passengers. They don't have the power. They don't even have the ability on the computer to waive certain costs or to give anything complimentary. They don't have that ability. So it's very possible that old Karen was just doing her job, and younger Karen, because she's no spring chicken either, but younger Karen maybe didn't like it and cursed her out. And so, again, I think that old Karen handled it poorly. But a lot of people say they think she got fired. I don't know that she would have been fired, because if you look at other instances with Spirit or Frontier, or even just any random airline, throughout the news in the last year or two, there have been situations that have been a lot worse than what I filmed, and the employee just gets away with a suspension or a warning. So just because it went viral or sort of viral, because I say sort of viral because let's say it got 50 million total views, that's still not like, I don't know, is that viral? I think that's viral, but I mean, I don't know. It went viral. Okay, yeah, it went viral, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that alone would cause her to lose her job. You would think so, but I don't know. And I certainly didn't do it with the intention of her losing her job. I did it with the intention, and this is very important. I did it with the intention, I noticed that something was wrong. I felt it was unjust. I felt that the passenger would probably be on the losing end because the airline was not going to believe anything she said. It was going to be a, she said versus she said situation. And who do you think the airline is going to believe? The employee that's been there for 20 years or a passenger, one of many, that can never be pleased, especially flying on a discount airline because they expect everything for paying for almost nothing. So look, the reality of the matter is that I just felt that documenting it was important, and that's just what I do, and if it had been a different situation, I might have intervened. But I have to be honest, in the post 9/11 world, you don't want to, get all righteous in the airport, because then you can't fly. The next best thing was to document, which is what I did, and share it on social media, which is what I did. And then from there, we wait and see what happens. Younger Karen was able to fly. Don't know if the older Karen lost her job. I don't know. But I did the next best thing to stopping an injustice, and that was to document it and share it and see what happens. And I'm still waiting to see what happens. So only time will tell. But I appreciate everybody that came through here on Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube. sightsonslayers.com. If at any point in time you see this video on replay and you like it, smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and please leave a comment down below. Thanks, guys. Take care.